Hello everyone, welcome back to Decode with Sahil. So today we are going to solve the next problem of our string series, that is longest palindromic substring. So if you have not watched the previous string videos, so I highly encourage you to go and watch them, and then you can come back here so that you would get a better understanding of this problem. So let me read through the problem. So given a string S, return the longest palindromic substring in S. Okay. So what do you mean by palindromic substring? So palindrome means the string would read seen forward or backward, right? Like consider example one. Okay. So we have BABAD. So BAB. So this is a palindrome mixed substring basically. Means if we reverse this BAB, so it will again be a BAB. So palindrome means reading same forward or backward. So basically we are given a string and we need to return the longest palindromic substring in it. Like if you consider this example, CBBT. So if we take the whole string, so it is not a palindrome because when we'll reverse it, it will be DBBC. So which is not same as CBBD. So we need to return the longest palindromic substring in a particular string for a particular string. Okay. So now what could you think of this particular solution? Like what could you think of an approach? Like so there's a basic approach that you can think of. So what basic approach would be? Like you can basically like start from any character. Maybe I'm starting from zero and maybe I'll take these two characters, suppose. Okay. And I'll check if these two form a palindrome, right? Then I'll check for these three. Then I'll check for these. Then I'll check for whole. Then I will check from second index. Then I'll check for these two. Then these three, A, B, A. Then again B, A. Then B, A, D. Right? So basically, I'm checking for every particular substring combination that can form in a particular string, right? So for that, that is possible, right? That is possible, and that will give me an answer, right? That is perfectly flexible for me as well. But that would lead to a like n cube time complexity, right? Because I'll do a for loop, then another for loop, then again I'll do another condition in order to move my pointer forward. So basically, this will not be an efficient solution because we know that this string could contain 1,000 characters. So for larger inputs, it would be a problem. Okay. So now there's a popular approach for this particular problem that is known as expand around center. Okay, expand around center. So what do you mean by that? So as you know, like suppose if I take this example, okay, suppose I have a string. Okay, so that is A B B B C B B B A. Suppose this is my string. Okay, so what expand around center means, and this is a palindrome string, right? Because if I'll reverse this as well, so it will be palindrome only. Okay. So now expand around center means that we pick a center and we expand our window, okay, on left and on right. And we'll keep on comparing the characters. Like suppose I pick a center. Suppose this is my center. Suppose this B is my center. So now I'll go to the left and one to the right. And I'll keep on comparing those characters. And if those are equal, that means we are getting a palindrome, right? So suppose this is my center. I go one left. So I got a B, I got a B. So that means this BBB is a palindrome, okay, right? So I got a palindrome length of 3. Now I'm expanding more, right? So now I gone until A, and here I gone until C, but A and C are not same. So then with this B as a center, this B means the third index B. So I am getting a longest palindrome length of 3, right? Makes sense. Now I'll change my center. I'll change my center to this. Then I'll again compare. So I'll go one to the left, one to the right. So I'll compare. So this B and this C, so these are not same. So if I'll take this B as a center, then I'll get maximum palindrome length of 1 only. Make sense? Now I shift my center one more. Okay. Now I shift my center. So this is my center. Now I go one left, one right. I'll compare this. These are equal. So I get my length 3. I'll go one more left, one more right. And I'll keep on comparing the characters. So this way, I'll get my longest substring, right? So this technique is known as expanding around the center. So this is like you got it. Like try to visualize it. That basically we are picking a center. We are changing the center, and basically we are expanding around the center. We are going left, we are going right, and we are comparing. If those particular characters match, if those match, then obviously it's a palindrome because there's one element fixed and the other two elements are same. So that we can reverse those and that will form a palindrome substring only, right? Makes sense. So we can follow this approach and that would help us like work through the solution in n square time complexity, which is better than the n cube time complexity, right? So what I'll do is I'll code it. I'll code it along with you. Basically, if we'll code it, so you would understand the steps and you would understand like what is the intuition behind it, right? I'll start with a base case. So base case would be like if I get a empty string or maybe a null string, so I would return that particular string only. So if s is null, okay, or s dot length is less than one. So in that case, I would return an empty string, right? Makes sense? So because it is not a palindrome, right? So answer would be an empty string, right? Now, as I was talking about that we need to expand around the center, but we need to know the indices. Like what are our indices? From which index we need to start, from which index we need to end. So for that, I would take two pointers. So a start pointer and end pointer. So both would start from same index initially, right? So that will track the start and end of the longest palindrome. Okay. Like I'll I'll add some comments so that you would know to track start and end of longest palindrome. Okay, now I'll just drop it down. Okay, now now I'll iterate over the whole string. Okay, for int I equals to 0, I less than s dot length, I plus plus. Okay, and we are considering this string as an example. So think of this string when we are writing this code so that you would understand it. Okay, now Now we need to pick a character as a center character, right? Like every time we'll pick one character as a center character. Okay. So we can consider the current character as the center character, right? Because I want to check with the current character, then we'll shift our characters for the center, right? So I would consider current character as the center. Okay. So, and I would define basically a helper function. So I can define it like expand around center. Okay. In that I can pass my current string and my two indices. Okay, so basically, okay, let's first create the helper method. Okay, so why I'm creating a helper method? Because you know, oops principle. We should not write all the code in a single method. Okay, so now basically single responsibility principle. Okay, so I would define a method. So this is my method. So I'll just quickly copy the name. Okay, so it will take a string as a parameter. Okay, it will take two indices, left and right, right? Basically the indices where it is going. Okay. So now we are initially taking this index as a center, and initially a string S contains this character only A. Okay, because we have started the loop from zero. Okay, so now we need to also need to check like we are decrementing. We'll be decrementing left, like we'll be going to the left as a negative value, and we'll be going right positively. So left should be greater than zero, and right should be less than the length of the string, right? Because otherwise, it will be out of bound. So I'll check, make a condition while left is greater than equal to zero, right? And right is less than s dot length. Makes sense because suppose this is my center. Now I go one left. So I'll check for index minus one. But if I'll check for index minus one, that is a index error, right? So I need to check like if index is greater than zero and right is less than s dot length. Okay. And what is the condition for a palindrome? Okay, what is the condition for a palindrome? That both the characters should be same. So and s dot char at left, right, should be equal to s dot char at right. Make sense? Okay. So now I'll do this while condition. Okay. So if all of these conditions are satisfied, So then I would decrement my left and I would increment my right. So suppose this is my center. No, suppose this is my center, this B. So left is greater than 0 because here left is past. Okay. So it is greater than 0, right is less than s dot length. And s dot caret left, s dot caret left, this B is equal to this B. So then it is satisfied. So then I decrement my left, increment my right. Makes sense? So right pointer will move outward. This will move outward. This left pointer will move in, right? Now, what I will return is that once this loop is over, so I will return the maximum length that I got basically from this particular center. Like if this is my center, so what is the maximum length of palindrome string that I got? So how I will return it? Right minus left plus 1. Right minus left minus 1 basically. Because so if I take 0 as my right, 0 is my left. So right minus left would be 0 minus 1. So basically we are not getting anything out of it. So it will return an 8. And we'll be storing it in an integer value. So we can take it as length 1. Now, now we can have odd and even length of substring, right? Like suppose we have this string s is equals to ABBA. So this is a even length of palindrome substring, right? Palindrome string. So, and this is a odd length, right? So for odd length, we need a different logic, like the center will be 1, center will be C, right? In this. But here, the center would be somewhere between these two B's, right? You got it? Like I cannot fix one center. If I will fix one center and I'll compare, so I would not get a longest palindrome, right? Makes sense. So for that, for even length palindrome, I need to take two different indices as my center. Makes sense? Like for odd length, we are only taking one indices as a center. But for even length, we'll take two indices as a center. Makes sense? So now I'll take these two as a center. Okay. So then that would satisfy my even palindrome substring. So I'll calculate the same for even substring as well. So I'll expand around center. I'll give S. Okay. And now I'll pass I and I plus 1 because I have two centers now, right? For odd length, I'll have one center. For even length, I'll have two center, right? So I'll write it down as well. For odd length, we will have one center. And for even length, we will have two centers, right? Now, and I'll also keep a track of the maximum length that I got, okay? So int length is equals to maximum of basically. So math dot maximum, whatever maximum I'm getting from either from length 1 or length 2. Okay, we are considering both the cases, even substring as well, or substring as well. Okay, now if the new palindrome is longer than the previous one, we can update the start and end indices. Makes sense? Like if you are getting a longer substring than previous, like consider this example, this B. So we'll get 3 length of substring, but if center is C, then we'll get a longer substring when we'll reach here. We are getting here 5. So now we have to update that, right? So how to update that? So like if our length is greater than end minus start, basically it will give us the index, right? So if it is greater, then start would be I minus a length minus 1, okay, divided by 2. So basically this is how the start would be updated and end would be I plus length by 2. So so you might be a bit confused in here, right? Like how I'm doing that. Okay. So basically this I minus length minus 1 by 2, this will calculate the leftmost index of the palindrome. This particular line. It will calculate the leftmost index of palindrome. Okay. And this will calculate the rightmost index. The rightmost index of palindrome. Like, suppose if you have I equals to 2 and a palindrome is of length 3. So start would become 2 minus 1. So that will be equal to 1. And end would become 2 plus 1. That will be equal to 3. Right? So you see like how it is changing one by one. Okay. So now since we got this, okay, so we'll go out of the loop. Okay. So now here we get out of our loop and we would return s dot substring start to n plus 1 because it is upper bound exclusive. So basically we will return the maximum substring. So start to end, whichever is the maximum. So start and end are continuously updated. So we'll return it. Okay. So this will give us our answer. So hopefully I think this code should run. I'll quickly run the code to see if it is working fine and then I'll try and run it for you. Okay. Okay, this is accepted. I'll just submit the code. All right. So it's working as expected, and the time complexity is also good for this problem. Let us check the time complexity as well. So this is big of n, so which is a better time complexity. So now what I'll do is I'll dry run it for you so that you will understand what is happening. Okay. So now initially start and end is 0. Okay. Start and end is 0. That will be used to track the start and end index for the longest palindrome substring. Okay. And initially I is 0. Okay. Now for odd length, we'll pick one center only. Okay. Left is 0, right is 0 initially. So it will go into this method, this character. A will match A. So this condition is true. But left is not greater than equal to 0 because left is also greater than equal to 0. Yeah. Initially for I equal to 0, left is greater. So this will go here. Left will become minus 1, right? Right will become plus 1. Now the length is currently 1. Now the left is decremented, so left would become minus 1. So this condition would become false. So it would be written right minus left plus 1, minus 1. So we got a current palindrome as B only, A only, basically. A is the current longest palindrome. Now, same it will call for 0 and 1 here. Okay. So same code will be run for, this method will be run for the substring AB, right? Now, again, so on iteration 2, again, the center would become this, then it will go to the helper method and it will be calculated. Similarly, when it comes to C, okay, so what will happen is when it comes to C, when the center is C, when we come to C, so what will happen is that left is already greater than 0 and caret left is equal to right. Current character is C, C equal to C. It will go left become minus 1, left comes to this index, right comes to this index. Again, conditions is satisfied. Again, left goes here, right goes here. So until left and right will come here, okay, because every character is equal. So it will come here, out, return right minus left minus 1. Right is here, left is here, minus 1. So, and it is the maximum length for now. So it will be updated in this length as well. And we got a new start and end, which will be returned in the end. I think this is the code. And I know that I might have gone too fast in here, keeping the time limit, but I might make one more video for it and create a deep explanation for it because it is a typical problem. If you want me, I can create a long video so that I can help you visualize this problem. But as a starter, this is a very good trick to pick a center and to expand around the center, and you would get a solution in a very good time complexity, right? So I hope you like the video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.